Seeing is believing. So then what we have faith for, we have already seen. In that what we have seen is not of a carnal interpretation, but that we have seen it not with our natural eyes, but in our soul we have seen it. When a man says a horse, you think of a horse. When he says a red horse, you think of a red horse. You just saw a red horse. That is how faith works. To have faith in something, you have already seen it. You have already seen the red horse, so you have faith that the red horse is, because you have seen what the red horse looks like. When you want a big house, get a mental picture of what that big house looks like. When you want a big car, or any size car rather, when you want a vehicle of a specific type, get an image of that vehicle in your mind and believe for it by knowing what it looks like. Then you know what you're looking for. And in choosing a house, it is the same, that what you have seen in your mind that you want. When you want something, you pick the details of it. You pick the color, you pick the body type, you pick the other details, your preferences. You have your preferences for it. So when you want something, decide what you prefer in that thing that you want. When you want a plane, decide what kind of plane. Research what kind of plane you want. When you want a boat, research what kind of boat you want. Look for the boat you want and get a mental image of what boat you want. And when you find the boat that you want with your carnal eyes, then claim it. And God will provide it as you have acted on faith in claiming it, and you have believed. When you believe God for it, you will receive it. In order to believe God for it, though, you have to see it, because you have to know what you're believing God for. When you believe God for something, know what you're believing for, so that God knows what to give you. When you say you want a woman, or when you say you want a man, be specific. Do you want a redhead? Do you want a blonde? Do you want a brunette? Do you want this complexion of skin or that complexion of skin? Do you want this personality type or do you want that personality type? Do you want this height or that height? Do you want this background or that background? When you are asking God for something, when you are believing God for something, know what you're believing Him for. Because there are a lot of women and a lot of men, but there's a whole lot less when you start narrowing it down. And then you know what you're asking God for, so then you know what to believe for, rather than asking to the wind and expecting an answer. Be specific in what you ask God for, so you get a specific result. Don't ask for something you'll end up not wanting. Ask for something. Pray for something. And trust in God that you will have it. And trust God for what you want, Don't trust God for what somebody else has. Trust God for what you want. Pick your preferences. Pick what you desire. Pick the desires of your heart in choosing. And then put everything together, so that in putting it together, you have a full picture of what you're asking God for. And then when you have that mental image, when you can see what you're believing for, then you are manifesting it by believing God for it. Rather than asking God for a blank image with no result. Or asking for a blank image and getting what you asked for, but it's not what you wanted because you weren't specific. Ask God for what you want. And when you ask God for what you want, know what you want. It's not just that you want a partner, but a specific kind of partner. It's not just that you want a truck or a vehicle, but a specific kind of vehicle. Do you want 4-wheel drive? Do you want all-wheel drive? Do you want it to be blue? Do you want it to be red? Decide what you want and research it so that when you ask God for it, you know what you're asking Him for, and therefore you know what you're believing for, and then you get what you're believing for and not a blank. Instead, you get a clear image of what you're looking for and not something that you don't know what you're asking for. Know what you're asking God for instead of just asking God for it. Know what it is you're asking Him for, rather than asking Him for nothing because you have seen nothing. Ask Him for something that you have seen that you do want.